Alrighty, this week we've got assignment 7.2, and it has to deal with inserts, updates, and delete statements. So there was a lot of problems this one, 9 problems to be exact. So for exercise 1, we had to write basically a copy table. We had to pull from the invoices table and the vendors table and basically say, we're making a duplicate table here for us to mess around with for the later problems. But because SQL, if you do the execution more than once, it will give you the error of there's already an invoice copy table. You had to drop the tables first. So that way it would just get rid of the tables automatically. So in exercise 2, we wanted to insert these rows into the invoice copy table and give them these values. And I believe there was 9 values in total we had to insert into the table. And for problem 3, we had to do the same thing we did in problem 2, but we were working with the vendors table instead. We wanted to insert these tables from the vendors table into the vendors copy table. And we wanted to insert these tables, but when we called the select statement, we wanted the results to be the vendor states that were not California. And before I forget, go ahead and execute this one. Go ahead and execute this one. And go ahead and execute this one. Alrighty, problem 4, we were moving into the updates. It was basically telling us we needed to update the vendors copy table, and we wanted to update it so that we changed the default account number to 403 wherever there was a value of 400 for the default account number. Problem number 5, again updating. We had to update the invoice copy table, and we wanted it so that the current date for the payment date is what we got, as well as the payment total being the sum of the invoice total minus the credit total. And we wanted that to be where the invoice table minus the credit total minus the payment total was all greater than 0. 12 rows. So for exercise 6, we were using updates again. And for that one, we had to write a subquery. But basically, we worked with the invoice copy table, and we wanted it to set it to where the terms ID was equal to 2. And we wanted it where the vendor ID column table, my bad, the vendor ID vendor ID column was from the vendor's copy table, and we wanted it where the default terms ID was 2. So sorry about the phone in the background. Problem number 7, we wanted to update the invoice copy table, and we wanted it to be the same results that we had in problem number 6, which if we execute that, we got 18 rows. We wanted it to be the same results that we got in problem number 6, but instead of using a subquery, we were just going to use a join, which we did here. And as you see, we get the same results. Exercise 8, we just wanted to delete some rows from the vendor's copy table where the state was Minnesota. And finally, for problem number 9, we wanted to delete where the state was not in the subquery of these two tables being joined, specifically the states that we are calling upon. And that is the homework for this week.